Good morning everyone, I'm Berlina Putri from Health Poltekkes of Yogyakarta. With all due respect, the judges and students in Indonesia, I'm going to speak of a millennials' role in pandemic era. Even though we are just at home now, that doesn't mean we cannot spread important knowledge like what I'm going to do today. COVID-19 is a disease caused by virus that unpredictably becomes a pandemic in this whole world. The novel coronavirus, which is still raging in many countries, is not yet being kept under control in Indonesia. We all know that we are already sick of this pandemic. How it changed our life, makes us far away from real social interaction. We are a social creature that needs to interact and talk with each other. Even though we still can do that through our phone, through social media, it still feels different, like we have to meet the real person in real life. Everything we do through online now. School, work, and other activities too. So sometimes we felt bored doing anything because we do that from home and ended up doing nothing to feel more bored. But actually, there are many things that we can do to help against this COVID-19. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a millennial, what can we do to help against this COVID-19? Millennials, including medical workers, firefighters, volunteers, as well as reporters, all fighting the coronavirus in different ways to help the country facing this pandemic. Our generation was born and raised in the past era actually. So this time, the pandemic pushed our generation to do our best to safeguard our nation. This virus doesn't spread by itself, so we can play a key role in stopping its spread. The first thing, we have to stay at home and stop hanging out with our friends. We have to do that because we are likely to become carriers for the virus. A lot of young people seem to underestimate this virus. Please don't. You might be fine, but you could endanger your parents or grandparents. The advices that have been given are wear a mask wherever you go, wash your hands often with soap, cough in your elbow, and avoid touching your face. The advices are good so far, but it's time we try taking it to the next level. Try to keep a bit of distance between yourself and others in public, at least 1.5 meters. Stop handshakes for a while and avoid large crowds. Also, phone your parents or anyone with a chronic disease, such as diabetes or cancer, instead of visiting them. In Indonesia, most of adults and elderly obey the health protocol. So we, as millennials, could play the role by giving them a mask and hand sanitizer. I have another example about millennials' role in pandemic era from the Deloitte Global Millennial Survey 2020. It's a survey about millennials' expression to face the unprecedented health and economic disruption caused by COVID-19. So this survey explores the view of 27.5k millennials both before and after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic to understand their perspective on business, government, climate, and the pandemic, among other issues. So this survey remained focused on larger societal issues like unemployment, income inequality, and crime, both before and after the onset of the pandemic. So this pandemic has reinforced their desire to help drive positive change in their communities and around the world. They continue to push for a world in which businesses and governments mirror that same commitment to society, putting people ahead of profits And it means that millennials are prioritizing environmental sustainability. Simply said, our society is not ready for such high numbers of ill people at the same time. Let's imagine how much medical workers, hospital beds, and respirators that we need to recover COVID-19 patients. From that, we all need to do our part for our own safety and those who are more vulnerable than us. That's all from my speech. Thank you for your kind attention. Goodbye.